Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Welcome. David Steinberg. Dear Belly, Chaim Kanievsky and Tommy the Cross cites the Chazanish interpretation of the verse. The Chazanish explains that this verse describes how a person recognizes the comfort of sleep, but chooses to forgo it in favor of Torah study. Levi Friedman, you heard the Vard, it's unbelievable Vard. But Vayar, to give up sleep is the sacrifice you need for Torah. Person gets up, like Reb Nachman says, I get up at 6 to come to the shir. Like Ashi, he sleeps for 90 minutes and he comes to the shir. That's Vayed. But you know what? It would be much more geschmack if you got up early in the morning to come to shir, and when it's easy hours at night, you also came. That would be more geschmack. Rabbi say, things all you do, David. Whatever. Certain people, it's done deal. Dear Rebelli, last week my shul went on a trip to Prague to see the famous Jewish sites such as the Kfarim of the Maral and the Nadi Yehuda, as well, of course, of the Goylum. On both days, while traveling by bus, or quite possibly the first time ever, instead of just schmoozing to my fellow passengers, first time on a bus, instead of schmoozing like everybody does, I managed to do the daf, see photo attached, something that would not have happened pre my MDY days. It has now become the norm to learn on buses and planes. While standing in Dresdenstadt crematorium, is that how you pronounce it? Something like that. Where countless Jews would have been put into the ovens, I noticed there was a visitor's book for people to leave a message. So I've just watched you display your wife's present, a silver tray with the words Ein Oid Milvade written on it. I could think of nothing better than to write that in the visitor's book, picture attached, to show the Nazis that was still here and still learning Torah, 250 daf without missing a day. There was a video somebody sent me yesterday. You probably, Rabbi Seitner, does that make sense? Sittner? He got up and he said a beautiful thing. He said that he was thinking about certain sorrows that were going on in the community. This one has a machla, a terrible machla, and this one this. And it was bringing him down. And all of a sudden, he said to himself, Einon Mavadi, where's HaKadosh Baruch Hu in all this? This is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's thing. Stop being down on yourself. And then he started repeating to himself many, many times. To himself, without anybody hearing. He said Einon Mavadi like 40 times. 40 times. Einon Mavadi. And by the time he got to the 40, 50, all of a sudden he hears a guy 3-4 benches away screaming the Gemara that we just learned. Einon Mavadi. And it gave him chills running down his spine. Because he mamish, what?
That would have been a thing that you could put into the
Yeah. No, but he said it, not me. I was like, I'm saying over. Moshe Karas Hatoiv, your Talmud, Avi Ritvo, London Golders Green, Baba Basra Daf Beis. Here he is. Rabbi say on the bus, Bemis, on the bus. There's a lot of things. You listen to music, schmooze, this, that, learning Torah. Arnov. This is my third attempt at trying to go through Shas. When I left the yeshiva to go work, my father made a deal that if I do the Daf Yomi shir, he would let me work. That failed. I got married, had kids, and tried joining the Daf Yomi again, but that failed. This time around, when Bracha started, I told myself, no matter what, I'm not dropping off the Daf. I started strong, but COVID hit, and my dream almost was gone at Daf Tes of Masechta Shabbos. I fell off the bandwagon, but Shabbos, but Menucha, not in MDY. I fell off the bandwagon, didn't join till Daf Ayin of Masechta Shabbos. I joined a few different shiurim. The Kitzer, I missed that. I wasn't sure if I would continue the other shiurim. One day, I was showing a clip of MDY shir and told myself, this is where I want to be, and therefore, since Nidorim Daf Nun Zayin, haven't missed a Daf, with Yontiv and all, I keep up. The Daf has become my habit. I am addicted to it. I run home, eat dinner, and then the Daf. It became my routine to watch Friday morning shir. Thank you, Rebelli, for changing my habit from just sitting around and scrolling on my phone to being able to learn and understand. Everybody understands this thing. Thank you, Rebelli, for changing my habit from just sitting around and scrolling on my phone to being able to learn and understand. Your Talmud, Arnon, since the Darman Zayin. Reb Nachman, since you weren't here last night, I want to tell you a Mordig Chiddush that it just hit me. When the Chofetz Chaim says he didn't buy shoes that have shoelaces, only slip-on shoes, because he wants to save that 1 minute it takes every day to tie his shoes. So I thought to myself,
Aaron's brother, is Rabbi Yosef Mazelton. His father was Rav Murray.
Huh?
Aaron's brother-in-law
In-law.
In-law. He's married to Rabbi Yechiel Mazelton's sister. Rabbi Murray was the big rabbi of Flatbush, and when Yechiel told me he went there to sell to Brisk, his father made him buy shoes with laces. So he said, "Why?" He said, "I'll tell you why. You're going to the best yeshiva, and you already think you know everything. This way, you bow down to your shoes. You have to mechanir yourself. And every time you tie your shoes, you have to mechanir yourself. So you don't know everything." He says, "Ari Rosenfeld buys shoes with laces every single time."
Machlokes the Chofetz Chaim and Aaron.
Murray Mazelton.
Now listen to this aside. So I did the math on Friday. Don't help him out. If you spend 1 minute every day of your life, just 1 minute a day, how many hours does that add up to your life?
I'm not a math guy.
550 hours of bedafka to be machnir yourself to your shoes. Could be it's a good thing. But that one thing I was thinking, there's so many things that we do. We go on our phone, we scroll this nice, that 1 minute, just for 1 minute. That 1 minute, 550 hours in your lifetime. Crazy. Rabbi said a big announcement. This is again to all the wives of MDY. WMDY, I like to call it. I don't think they like that too much. The first MDY Wives Rosh Chodesh event, when? Tuesday, March 4th at 7:45, Bell's Hall in Borough Park. Attendance is free. I think they have a comedian over there, against Zach. Wives.mdydaf.com. Wives.mdydaf.com. The kids are. But no. So time about that. The one thing. This is for the people in Borough Park. People in Baltimore will do something else. But at least get onto the group. There's 150 women right now in the group, and we just started the group.
From here can go.
Huh?
The Borough Park. Why don't anybody check it?
Is your wife on it? So the wives have to be on it, and then they discuss where. Meanwhile, the women from Borough Park are on it.
Better buy my wife a smartphone so she can get on the group.
Oh, but you can go to the thing here, wives.mdy. online. She could do it on the website. Zechariah. Have all. Okay, Rabbi side. Oh. We have to do the sponsors. The Masechta sponsor, we have some new turning of the Daf sponsors. Our boys say, you're not going to believe it. Masechta sponsor, Refuah Shelaima for Yosef Chaim, Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. Anonymous for Hatzlacha, Berukhniyos and Begashmiyos. Larry Cohn and Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, he had to start learning the Daf Yomi at age 70. Anonymous for the unity of the Jewish people. Glenn Esterson, with love and gratitude from Wilmington, North Carolina. Thank you for enriching my life with Torah. Monthly sponsors, Leading Nishma, Zechrya Ben Moshe, Leading Shmas, Chaya Bas Yosef. And the speedy release from house arrest, says Leon Welcher, of Ari Rosenfeld, Aaron Ben Hinda, Esther Gittl, Binyomin Rosenfeld, Hatzlacha in Parnasa. I love Binyomin Rosenfeld. You know why? 3 words. Hatzlacha in Parnasa. Yosef Ben Chaya Sara, Hatzlacha, Berухniyos and Begashmiyos. Lila Nishmas, the fallen hostages. Ariel Ben Shiri, Kfir Ben Shiri, Shiri Bat Margit. Kyle of the month, sponsored by HYK. He has competition. Ventures in honor and for the success of all our clients. And a new monthly sponsor for the Koilel, $10,000 a month. Yaakov Ben Saro, Mishpachtoi, Lebrocha v'Hatzlacha, Yisher Koyach. Welcome to the club, the monthly sponsors, daily sponsors. Kineveshis LC, for my grandmother, Elchanan Pressman's mother, Yortzat Yochevet Basel Chanan, she should have an aliyah. Moshe Harari, healing for Klal Yisrael, and for all the hostages to be released. Amen. Art of the month for Schus, for Eli, and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many, and in honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. They work for free, and they work for many hours every day, sometimes 10 hours a day. I'm not joking. Beloy Guzma. Rabbi said we have fascinating sugya. So, here's the question. Although I asked this question once before, so therefore don't answer. A few of the Chachamim here don't answer. This is for the Hamoinam. What is worse, Rabbi said, what is worse? To marry your own grandmother or to marry your wife's grandmother? It's a trick question. Huh? Wife's grandmother. I said don't answer. You're saying shtusim. Of course, you don't know what you're saying. You don't know what you're saying. Huh? Donnie, what's worse?
I can't even answer one question. Your own. Not you said
your own. Your own grandmother. So the answer is, Rabbi said, the answer is, it's much, much worse to marry your wife's grandmother than your own grandmother. In fact, your own grandmother is not even in the Torah. There's no Issa D'Oraisa to marry your own grandmother. As crazy as that sounds, the Rabbana, but your wife's grandmother, that's an Isser D'Oraisa. Okay? Just thought I'll throw it out there. You could ask your friends that don't want to do the Daf Yomi, and you can say, ask them this question, and I don't think they'll know it. Fine. Bo minei mirebi ami. We weren't able to finish the daf yesterday, and the Israelis were coming in, and there was a balgan. We had to stop here. But we have a very short daf coming up in a day or two, so Be'ezer Hashem will be able to catch up. Bo minei mirebi ami. Ben Noach mitzuva al kedushas Hashem or ein mitzuva al kedushas Hashem. The whole sugi that we had, a person in certain situations has to give up his life for the shloisha chamurais, and then if you do a isser b'far hesia, it's in front of 10 Jews. If it's a time of ishmad, you can't even change the color of your shoelaces. Does a benoyach, a non-Jew, if they tell him, do this avodah zara or we'll kill you, does he have to give up his life? Omar Abai Toshma, Sheva mitzvahs nestavu b'nei noyach. Here are the Sheva mitzvahs b'nei noyach. Yes, anybody forgot them? Aleph Beis Gimel Daled. It's some people like Aleph Beis Gimel Daled, Hey Vav Zayin, which is, but I like Gimel Chamurois. Everybody knows that we had yesterday the Gimel Chamurois. Then do Aleph Beis Gimel Daled. You can have your own. Each person can figure it out themselves. They have their own thing. That's how I like it. So I'm showing the Olam. Ever Menachai Birkas Hashem Gezel Dayanim. Now there's only 7. According to you, then you have to give up your life. If somebody puts a gun to your head and tells you to do avodah zara, that should be number 8. V'misa tamnei havion. It's the 7, and if somebody puts a gun to your head on all these 7, you have to give up your life. It's not a new one. It's not number 8. It's the rules and the instructions of these 7. May have a does a guy have to give up his life for the 7 minutes of the Omer Avad Rav Amri Beirav Ksiv La Dovar Azeh Yislach Hashem Lavdecha. So we're talking about Naaman. Naaman was a non-Jewish general, thank you, and he had saras. So they told him, go to Elisha, he's a big Navi, he might be able to help you out. So he shows up there with all his men, and Elisha wouldn't come to the door. And he's very insulted, but Elisha sent him a message, just go into the river, dunk 7 times, you'll be okay. Oh, me, I am Naaman. He's very, very hurt. So somebody said, what do you care? You're already here. Try it. He says, our rivers are much better. He goes into the river, dunks, and it disappears. It becomes like a baby. So then he realizes that there's a Rebbeinu Shalom, and all his life that he's worshiping the avodah zara was a mistake. So he comes back, he says, look, I am doing tshuva. But one thing I can't get rid of. One thing. Now I have to go with the king, and he's going to go to Beis Rimmon, and he's going to bow over there. And he's holding on to me. And what am I going to do? He's going to bow, and I'm going to bow. I have to. When I go with the king, I have to bow with him. That's one aveira I'm going to do. And Elisha tells him, so Elisha gives him the okay. That's fine. Says the Gemara, top. If it's true that a ben Noach has to kill himself for avodah zara and the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach, if you have to be Mekadosh Hashem, that's Kiddush Hashem, to kill yourself. Kiddush Hashem. Why did Elisha tell him it's okay? Says the Gemara, there's a difference. Like we said, Naaman and the king, nobody saw. Get away with it. B'farhesia is when our question was, does he have to be Mekadosh Shem Shomayim and say, no, I will not do this avodah zara because it's in front of other people? What other people? Jews or non-Jews? The guy in front of the Jews? Rashi. Yeah. Omer Rav Yudam Rav. There's a person who was looking at another woman. The Gemara is going to describe if she was married or not. He became sick over her, and he didn't know what to do. So they went, they asked for medical advice. V'amru, and the doctors gave advice. Ein lo takana, this guy has no way out of it. The only way he can get out of this disease is if he's with her. Amru chachamim yamos v'alte barloi. So let him die. There's no way to here. So it's interesting. All of a sudden, the doctors, all of a sudden, they have the first. They say, no, this is the only way. Then all of a sudden, typical. They say, oh, but the rabbi said it's also. Oh, you know what? There's another way out of this. Tamid lefanav aruma. She should be without clothing. So the Chacham said, Yomos val tamid lefanav aruma. That's also. Oh, we have another eitzah. Oh, there's another. We realized this. We looked it up. There's a third idea here that could save his life. Today it's called talking on the phone. In those days, talk behind the fence. You don't see the other person. Schmoozing. Just schmooze. Yomos v'altesaper imoy machori agoder. He has to give up his life. Give up his life. Says Gemara, Pligi bar Reb Yaakov bar Idi v'Reb Shmuel ben Achmeini, the Machloikis. Chad Omar Eish Yisish Oyso, Chad Omar Pnei Oyso. One says that this woman happened to be Eish Yisish. The other one says no, she was unmarried. Bishloim Elamando Omar Eish Yisish Oyso Shapir. If she was married, everything makes sense. That's why he couldn't even talk to her from behind the fence, which is amazing. Peleploi, a person is dying, death, life and death. Pikuach nefesh. He cannot even have a conversation with her. Why? Because she's married. V'zarayu de arayus.
Why?
That's the halacha.
Why?
What do you mean why?
Why?
Why can't you do avodah zarah?
You speak to married women?
For hana, for arayus, for his own enjoyment, for his own benefit. So it comes out that to gaze at an unclothed married woman, you have to give up your life for that. Not to. I said even talk. I'm just saying something that's a little bit more practical. It could be. You have to give up your life, not to look. Even though there's no physical contact, nothing. To look. Give up your life. But if, according to the man Omar, she was unmarried, so what's the big chomer? So talk to her from behind the fence. Two pshatim. Rapapa Omar Meshum Pagam Mishpacha, which is a peleploy. It disgraces the family. It's a bizayin for the family. Her Mela, okay, she's moichelim. She doesn't want the guy to die. You know what? Let me have a little shmooze, one shmooze from behind the fence. He doesn't see me and he's healed. No, but it's embarrassing to the family. So because you hear what's going on, because it's embarrassing to the family, this guy has to die. This could lead to other things. This is priesthood. This is arayis. This is not just schmoozing with somebody. This is not saying hello to someone. This is because this guy has a disease that the only cure is this, to do something that's abizarayis arayis. It's part of the thing of arayis, and this could lead to the Jewish girls being prutzim in arayis. Ask the Gemara, I have another idea. Why does he marry her? He should ask the Shadchan to read a shidduch. If they agree, I don't know if there's anybody in this room that would allow his daughter to marry this weirdo, but okay. He already goes to doctors. Doctors have a whole thing. There's nothing you can do. Oh yeah, this is a great shidduch. Who's your daughter marrying? This Meshugana that saw my daughter and then behind the fence, whatever. Then Kamprutzi says Rashi Barais the Kulu Levin Achi. Bilinson and says I love this lashon. Ben kan avera, ella mitzvah. It's the opposite of avera. It's a mitzvah to get married. Okay. I would never say this line, but since I heard it from Rebbe Victor Miller, I'm going to allow myself to say it, and if you want to write me an email, go ahead. He says, what is the quickest way to kill a romance? To get married.
Romance is not part of marriage.
He says, this guy should marry her. No, let me if you get married, it doesn't work. The whole idea is that he's obsessed, he's crazy. getting married, it's not going to help his taiva. The Rabbi Yitzchak, the Omer Rabbi Yitzchak, the time of bia was taken away from married people. It was given to the people that do avera. Shenemar, mayim gnuvim yitaku, the famous pasuk, mayim gnuvim yitaku. What tastes better, the cholent you steal in yeshiva on Thursday night, or the geshmaket cholent that was 3 days on the blech on Shabbos morning? Shabbos morning is nothing compared to breaking into the kitchen on a Thursday night when nobody in the yeshiva could catch you and get thrown out of yeshiva, and then you steal that. V'lechem sitarim yinam. Lechem, like Rashi brings the famous pasuk, ki malechem asher hu oichel in Bereshis. What? By Yosef. Lechem is a reference to relations. Lechem, it's a lashon nikiyah. V'lechem starim yinam. The hidden lechem, the hidden bread, yinam is better. Boy, say with that. Huh? It's not a lashon. It's yeah, but the lechem, it doesn't say something else. It says lechem. Hadron Allah ben Soyer Umoyre, Hadron Allah ben Soyer Umoyre, Hadron Allah ben Soyer Umoyre. Says the Mishnah Veilu and Sreifa. What is Sreifa? Just to remind the Olam, Sreifa. A lot of people before they did the daf, they thought Sreifa means you take a bunch of wood and you light a bonfire, and then you put the person in the fire. We learned that it's not that. You take a bunch of waste and you put the person into the waste, and then you kind of choke him, not to the point where he dies, but to the point where he gags and he opens up his mouth. And once he opens up his mouth, then you pour the hot molten into his esophagus, whatever is left of it, and then it goes down into his body, and he goes bye-bye. Who are the people that get straight from? Haba al isha ubita. What's isha ubita? So if you were to read this by yourself without looking in the Gemara or anything, you'd think Isha Ubita means what? Huh?
Woman and her daughter.
Which woman? Which woman?
Married woman.
His own wife, and her daughter. That's the simple. Isha, his wife, Ubita. But okay.
Why would you think that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any woman in this.
However, what it really means is it means his mother-in-law and his mother-in-law's mother. I said, your wife's grandmother is your mother-in-law's mother. She's an Isser D'Oraisa. Ubas Kohen, we had a whole sugya about a Bas Kohen. A Bas Kohen is the daughter of a Kohen. We had a machlokes. Is she married? Is she engaged? Is she married or engaged? Both of them can be one shita. You're embarrassing the Kohen. It's a via michalelas. So she gets reifa. What does the noyef get? Something else. He gets chenek. Now, once we know isha ubita, once we know there's a header. This is what the Torah says. The Torah talks about these two right over here. Let me show you. Oops. You see, they pop out. A mother-in-law and a mother-in-law's mother. That's in the Torah. Once we know those two, we come up with a total of 9. What are they? Yesh b'chalal isha ubita. You can learn from these. Bitoy, ubas bitoy, ubas benoy. These are his descendants. Not from a wife, just from an anusa, without a marriage, out of wedlock. Bitoy, his own daughter, and his granddaughter, ubas bitoy, and his granddaughter, but through his son. So you have his daughter, here's the chart. A person has a daughter. Here, let's see if it pops up. It doesn't pop. His daughter and a granddaughter on the right side. And you have a granddaughter on the left side. In other words, he has a son, and the son has a daughter. Very, very simple stuff. Those are the first 3. Now we go to the wife. He's married, same idea. The wife has a daughter, and the wife has a granddaughter from him. And also, his wife has a son, and that son has a daughter. Here we go. You see these 3? Boom. Again, you weren't looking, so here. Another 3. And then finally we have Chamoisai, his mother-in-law, which we already mentioned as the header. What's the header, Rabbi Isai? A mother-in-law and her mother. So now the Mishnah repeats it. Chamoisai. You have to say the Maisa. Once in a while you have to repeat the Maisa. Knock on the door. The guy opens up the door. Enters Harer. His mother-in-law is standing there with a giant suitcase. He's in shock. It's like, Schwieger, how long are you planning on staying here? She says, as long as I'm wanted here. She says, what, so you're not even going to stay for a cup of coffee? Ve'im chamoisai, ve'im chamim. Okay, so the final three, Rabbi Isa here. Check this out. Ishtoi. I guess I didn't say it in a month or two. In a month or two, I said. Somebody that's sitting in this room, sends me a text message on Thursday. He says, not only do I have a karsa toy for the amazing shiurim that you give and everything that you've done for me and how you changed my life, but you don't understand. I was in my mother-in-law's house right now, and I told her I have to run to your shir. That is the biggest karsa toy I could ever have for you. Says, so true. Okay, so that's that. Did I show this? Let's show it one more time so that everyone understands here. I threw one in, under my breath, but we have to pay attention to it a little bit. You have your mother-in-law and your mother's mother-in-law, your mother-in-law's mother, but also your father-in-law's mother. Again, your father-in-law's mother. She is also to you midiraisa. But, yeah, it's a little hard to, your father-in-law, think about your shver, his mother.
Your wife's grandmother, no?
Your wife's grandmother from her father's side. Right. It doesn't say that you're over if you are with your wife and also her mother. Well, not simultaneously, but in other words, if a person has relations with his mother-in-law. It doesn't say that. Why? Why doesn't it say that? Because you're allowed to be with your wife. Your wife never becomes usher to you. Just because you had relations with your mother-in-law doesn't make your wife usher to you ever. Because it seems from the Mishnah that these people they're usher to you. All of them are usher to you. El Abba Alisho Bita just says plain, a woman and her daughter. It seems like the woman and the daughter are usher. And who could that be? Umaninu. It must be, it's your mother-in-law and her mother. Viktani, now that's the header. Once we know mother-in-law and the mother-in-law's mother, in other words, your wife's grandmother and your wife's mother, and we learn the rest out of that. Those two are mother-in-law and the mother-in-law's mother. Your wife's mother and your wife's grandmother are in the Torah specifically. And everything else is learned. We have 9 total in the Mishnah. So 2 out of the 9 are in the Torah. 7 out of the 9 we have to learn from these 2. What are these 2? Let's just.
He did away with one of them or both of them?
With
his mother-in-law and her mother, or just with his mother?
No, both. Mother-in-law and the mother. What do you mean?
Why does he need both? Why does he not have each one separately?
Each one, not
Each one.
No. When both of them are dead, we're talking about both. Eim chamoise and chamoise.
No, if he had just had relations with his mother-in-law.
Okay, that we're going to get into now. Hold on. That's depends. There's a shaila if the wife is alive, not alive. But yes, she's also 100% also. So this is what we're talking about. Rabbi Isai here, these 2. Yeah, you're married to a woman, her mother, and her mother's mother. These are the ones that are in the Torah. Okay, so check this out. It says in the pasuk like this: person marries a woman and her mother. Zimahi. We have to remember this word zima. We're going to learn drushes from it. You have to burn him with fire. Vesen. What does vesen mean, Rabbi Isai, in Hebrew? Them. Now, this is machlokes. Does it mean them or does it mean her? Machlokes, Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says it means them, both of them. Rabbi Shmuel says no, it's only talking about one. Let's go in Rabbi Akiva. So in Rabbi Akiva, we have a machlokes what Rabbi Akiva meant. Here it goes. Vesen is two people. Them, like you said, you all said, it means both of them. So who could it mean? Both of them. Who are you killing over here? Chamoisai ve'im chamoisai. Your mother-in-law and your mother-in-law's mother, your wife's mother, and your wife's grandmother. And what's the einish? You get straight for both of them. Rava says no. Vesen is your wife and the mother-in-law, but only one of them dies. In other words, the Isser is only, why does he Vesen, two, both of them, to tell you that in order to die for a mother-in-law, it must be that your wife is still alive. That's what he says. Okay? Stop. Yes? Rabbi, are you holding? Yeah. According to Rava, in order to die for a mother-in-law, the wife still has to be alive. It's like a Achoisisha kind of. So Ishtai has to be alive. That's why it says Vesen. Vesen is not that both of them die, because both of them don't die, because a wife doesn't die in this case. She's mutter to the husband. But Vesen, both are there. Okay. So, says the Gemara. It's how you explain the word. The whole Mishnah is Rebbe Kiva. What do we say the Mishnah is talking about? Nechama, we said the Mishnah is talking about chamoisai ve'im chamoisai. So this could go according to Abaya, who says that two people die over here. Chamoisai ve'im chamoisai. Mani Rebbe Kiva. It goes great. Two people are dead. A chamoisai, mother-in-law, and a chamoisai. El Rav Dama chamoisai lachamisi kibinayu. According to Rav, it says no. Drop the im chamoisai. There is no mother of a mother-in-law. The only thing we have here is chamoisai. That's it. Just one. And the question is the wife alive or not alive? So we have a problem. Masnisamani. You just established that the Mishnah is talking about a mother-in-law and her mother. But according to Rav, it's only a mother-in-law, nothing to do with her mother. Rava says, Rav says, you're right. I don't agree with that. And what you established, that was talking about a mother and a mother-in-law, the first line of the Gemara, I disagree. Tani, we're talking about a person is married and he has relations with that person's mother. In other words, chamoisai. Okay. So once I establish whoever it is, a mother-in-law and her mother, or mother-in-law, I learn from that the rest of the Mishnah. The question is, like 5 words from the end of the Mishnah, it says chamoisai ve'im chamoisai. A mother-in-law and the mother-in-law's mother. Why do I need to repeat it? If that's the header, which means, according to Abaya, it means chamoisai ve'im chamoisai. So why is the Mishnah repeating chamoisai ve'im chamoisai? You already said in the beginning of the Mishnah. So therefore, the Gemara says, because, check this chart out. There's 3 things popping out here. I want to talk about Eim Chamev. I want to say one thing. The father-in-law's mother, your wife's grandmother from your father's side. I want to talk about that. So Mela, I'm going to repeat all over again your mother-in-law and your mother-in-law's mother. I don't need to because it already says in the Mishnah, but it's in that category. There's 3 from the mother-in-law's category. I want to talk about your father-in-law's mother, Taninami Chamoisai, your mother-in-law, Ve'im Chamoisai, and your mother-in-law's mother. And the Rava. What is, according to Rava, that the Mishnah, the beginning of the Mishnah, Habala Isha Ubita, is talking about your wife and your mother-in-law. So why does the Mishnah repeat Chamoisai? The Rava added the Kabbalah Mishnah, Eim Chamiv, Ve'im Chamoisai, Taninami Chamoisai. Again, same teretz. I want to say 2 things. According to Bai, I only wanted to say the father-in-law's mother. Now, I wanted to say the top 2 ones. Eim Chamiv, Ve'im Chamoisai. So therefore, I also talk about Chamoisai. Taninami Chamoisai. Benani. How do I know punishment in all these 9? All these 9. The Tanur Rabbanan Isha sheikach es isha ves imo. Here we go. Visha sheikach es isha ves imo zimohi beish yisrifu oisoi vesen. Yeah, we had the pasuk a minute ago. Eli isha of ima. This pasuk only mentions a mother and her a wife and her daughter and her mother. Isha of ima. bas isha, bas bita, ubas bina. Minayin, how do I know? Going down a level, going down a generation. Nemar kan zima. It says by a mother-in-law here. This pasuk, isha ves ima, mother-in-law. It says the word zima. You see, zima is highlighted. And it says by your wife's daughter and her granddaughter, isho bita, bas bino, bas bita. It also says the word zima. Just like over here in this pasuk, it says all these categories: bas bino, bas bita. So afkan, so too, in this pasuk, avbita, ubas bita, ubas bino. Now we have a freebie, a bunch of lines that we're not going to explain now because the Gemara is going to explain every single word. Rashi says lahalom mafarish, so lahalom mafarish. How do you know to make a zachar like in a keva? Nemar kan zima, v'nemar la'alon zima, malon zcharim kinekevas, kan zcharim kinekevas. Nine lasis l'matik l'mala. How do you know to do the upper category like the lower category like the upper category? Nemar kan zima, v'nemar la'alon zima, malon l'matik l'mala, kan l'mala l'mala, u'makal l'mala l'mata, la'alon l'mala l'mata. Upper is like down and down is like up. Omar, v'nine lasis zcharim kinekevas. How do you know to make the men like the women? My zcharim kinekevas. What does that mean? Ileim bas binoki bas bito. If you're going to say that the daughter of her son, the two bottom ones are equal, the daughter of the son and the daughter of a daughter are equal, that can't be. But they have other cases. They're in the same pasuk, they're in the same limud. Ella, eim chamiv keim chamoisai. I want to do these two, make these two equal. The mother of your mother-in-law and the mother of your father-in-law, the two top guys, they should be equal. Says Gemara, that doesn't make sense to ask such a question. We don't even know yet. We don't know yet the mother of the mother-in-law. So you ask me, how do I know the mother of a father-in-law? Why would you jump? One thing at a time. Mother-in-law. What comes after mother-in-law? Mother-in-law's mother. Once you know mother-in-law's mother, then you could jump to your father-in-law's mother. But why are you talking about a father-in-law's mother, which is the furthest one away from us, before you establish anything about your mother-in-law's mother? Your mother-in-law's mother, yeah. No, your mother-in-law's mother, yeah. Amar Abaya, Hachik Amar, yeah? Did we finish? You're going to go to the father-in-law's mother. Amar Abaya, Hachik Amar, Daf Amud Beis, Hachik Amar. When the Gemara says this interesting lashon, what's the lashon? How do you know to make zcharim like in the caves? You know who the zachar is? You know what the cave is? The zachar is the husband, then the cave is the wife. So the husband, to make all the relatives on the husband's side, like all the relatives on the wife's side. And for that I say, never can zima, but never allowed zima. It says zima by the husband's side, it says zima by the woman's side, and meila, they're all together. Let's do the sponsors for a second. Turning of the daf, other. So we have new sponsors, Rabbi site. Adar Global, he's not new, but he's going for, I think, almost the whole year. Experts in international financial services. Dr. Allen and Barbara Listhouse. The famous Dr. Listhouse has been with us since Brachas probably. In memory of my dear father, Joseph Listhouse, on his 45th yard site, Mordechai Yosef Ben Aaron, Olav Shalom. The Refuah Rivka Henyo Bas Shelaima, the Refuah Satino Gicheska Yidid Ben Nechama Shendel, and Nad Life, like Nadlan Life, Realty, Bet Shemesh, and Moshe Einhorn. In honor of rebelling the entire MDY family, Moshe Einhorn told me he didn't know about this. His company put it in L'chvoidoi. Yeah. But can you get Rebelli to clarify that the ladies' event is for all women from all areas in and around New York, not just ladies from Borough Park? If anybody thought that. Women coming from Lakewood, Muncie, and 5 towns. It's just taking place in a Borough Park because it's a central location. I got that. I think everybody got that. I think they were complaining, Mark, whoever wrote that, they were complaining that the women of Bet Shemesh don't have anything. But that's the typical Bet Shemesh thing. Bet Shemesh always wants things to happen for them. We should make things for them. They never get up and say, okay, let's do something. The guy in Seville, they're working and working to do things. How come nobody made anything for me? I don't know, it's a good shiloh. Okay, but that's how it is. We were trained like that. We started here, right, Reb Nachum?
Yes.
Huh?
It's the Bet Shemesh year.
It's the Bet Shemesh year, and everybody's like used to like. We give siyum and we do siyum, and things just happen by themselves. Moshe Aaron brings breakfast. Why does they bring breakfast? People come to him to tainas. Moshe, there's no breakfast today. But you know, when we established, right, those Lili Nishmas, mother's yard side, Givaldik. But the Hebrew shir works a little differently. I'm serious, because from day one, he said, we're not giving you anything. So a guy came and says, you know what, I want to do chant today. So the guy said, you're doing chant? I also want to do chant. How can I get on this? So he brings chant. The next guy says, you brought chant. My wife wants to make schnitzel. So he makes schnitzel. And Bekitzer became a matzah where like every night somebody brings something, somebody brings cold beer, the shir never sponsored one thing, not one thing. The shir is doing it, huh?
It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
There's other things we could have. There's liquor, there's things. Ask not what the shir could do for you. Ask what you could do for the shir. Rabbi said, wake up. How come we don't have the women's thing? Did you make a women's group? They made a women's group. They got together, got 145 women on, and now it's more. Let the women discuss with themselves.
Weiter.
Weiter. Over here they say weiter. In the Hebrew shir, if a guy said weiter, 6 guys would come, pick him up, throw him out the window, the closest window. Weiter.
You must love it.
I do.
You love it. Nobody chas v'shalom says a word.
They do, but it's different. I don't want you to be jealous, but it's a shtickle different. That's why. Come one night to 9 o'clock. Come to 9 o'clock. By the way, the in the Hebrew is 3 times as loud than the English one.
Change make the Hebrew.
Wow. There's one thing missing from the Hebrew shir. Boy says there's one thing missing. They don't have a Rabbi Nachman Seltzer sitting next to me. That we need. And Beis Hashem is going to start coming to the Hebrew shir. Then that was the guy from the Hebrew shir saying, please don't give any crazy ideas here. We said already. Oh, how are you learning his family from her family? It doesn't even say the word zima by him. So it's a pretty good kasha. You're learning zima, it doesn't even say zima by him. So how could you learn such a thing? This is a very famous Zereshava. Well, basically the way it works is like this. Look, very simple. It says zima over here. And it does say zima over here. But it also says heina. And Memela, the heina, which is talking about bas bincha, talking about the husband, so it says heina there, so you go backwards, and now you put the heina and the zima together in the other pasuk by a woman and her daughter, Bekitzer, you get the zima through that. Omar mar. Very simple shaila here. What does lamala and lamata mean to you? Simply it means generations. There's one generation, and there's a lower generation. There's a higher generation, a lower one. So the Gemara is asking, how do you know to make the bottom generation like an upper generation? So let's get a bas bina here. Here we go. Here. There's a lamata. I want to do a bas bita. Bas bina, ubas bita, the bottom guys on this chart, all the way in the bottom. I want to make them kibita, like the higher generation, like a daughter. It's like a daughter, you're with a daughter, you're sreifa, so too a granddaughter. So that makes sense. There's a lamata, all the way down on the bottom of the chart, should be like a lamala in the middle of the chart. I don't understand. They're in the same limud, in the same psukim. Ella, I want to know, I want to do the higher. You see the top line? No, we just switched it, and that's the problem. We're going, I want the top guys, the the grandmother should be like the mother. Like a mother-in-law. That doesn't work well. Why? Then the wording is not good. It's not Hailamata kilamala. It's not the bottom should be like the upper. Over here you're asking me, how do you know that the top level, is like a bottom level? The wording is backwards. Lamala kilamata. Tani lamala kilamata. That's what it means. You don't have to switch the words here. That's what I meant. That the lamala should be like a lamata. That's what I meant. Lamata kilamala. Ihachi. Nemer kan zima. Benela an zima. Umahashta ini like sivim. Wait a minute. it doesn't say zima. If that's what you're looking for, a source, and you learn it from the zima, gzera shava, ini lo ksivan. It doesn't say at all anything in the Torah about a grandmother-in-law, right? Oh, that's a good word. A grandmother-in-law. Your mother-in-law's mother. It doesn't say that in the Torah. It doesn't say anything about Eim Chamib. Like Zima, Diduk Siva, and you're going to tell me that it says Zima by a grandmother-in-law? It doesn't even mention grandmother-in-law. Certainly not a Zima. Oh, new pshat. Beautiful chart. We start in the middle. Your wife is number one. Yeah? Oh, that's Mardik. Your wife is number one. And anything below or anything above is a two, is a second generation. So how do I make the three generations above? In other words, all I'm trying to show in this chart is it's two generations. We call it three because your wife is generation one, her mother is generation two, and her mother is generation three. How do I know to do that? Like going downwards, like your wife's daughter and your wife's granddaughter. Oh, and just like when it comes to the punishment, the daughter, granddaughter is like lamala. And so too, when the warning part, because you need a warning, right? You can't just kill somebody without a warning, not the hasra. The Torah has to warn you, and the Torah has to tell you about a punishment. So Rashi says over here a very interesting lashon, like 4 lines before it becomes wide. Lamalo kilamatahi she'avos la'olam elyonim nikru. A father, the avos, our avos, la'olam elyonim nikru. They're always considered elyonim she'im kadmu. There's a story attributed to Rabbi Yankiv Kamenetsky, and it's hard to believe that he would talk like that, but a lot of people told me, yes, it's Rabbi Yankiv Kamenetsky, a famous story. He's on a plane. Everybody's shaking their head, they know, but a lot of people don't know the story. He's on a plane, and the guy next to him was a non-Jew, a doctor, a sophisticated person.
Was it a politician Israeli?
A politician Israeli? Okay. No, I don't think so. Let's not do that. Let's say it was a non-Jew. Okay, fine. We're going to change the story a little bit. Stop. The story is the story, exactly what it was not. So he says, everybody knows the story, so we can go back there. Fine. The guy says, I noticed the entire flight, your grandson is getting up for you and bringing you and leaning and is that, huh? Let me just say the story. Who is it? The head of the Histadrut. The head of the Shkoyach. Another. I love giving shir here for the English guys. Yeah. You'd like to say the punchline? It's Geshmak?
They do this in the Hebrew shit. I don't know the story.
Moshe Einor, let me just tell you the story. With his punchline and with this, so annoying. You guys want to go already? I'm going to badafka schlep this out. So anyway,
who was the person in the story?
So Rabbi Yankiv was on a plane, and the guy next to him from the Stadrut, not the Stadrut, the Chiloni, not a Chiloni, tells him, "What's pshat that your son, your grandson is so mechabed you? The entire flight is bringing you and schlepping and asking." He says, "And I also have grandsons, and they don't treat me like that." So he says, "I'll tell you. We believe that the greatest occasion in Klal Yisrael was Har Sinai. So the closer you are to Har Sinai, the more chashuv you are. I am closer to Har Sinai than my grandson and my son, so that's why they're mechaved me. You believe that we all emanated from monkeys, so you are closer to monkeys than he is, so he has more chashivas than you." I don't believe that Rabbi Yankiv said that. It's not him. He's a politician. He said it like a. It's amazing stuff. Okay. It's great for the brisker of or whatever, but not, okay, fine. It wasn't on a plane, it was on a train. It wasn't Rabbi Kamenetsky, it was the Stipler. It wasn't his grandson, it was his son. It wasn't the guy who was from the Stadrut. It wasn't this, it was that. And here's the punchline before you say the joke. Yishkoyach, you deserve a round of applause. Rabbi say, wow, what an audience, I have such a curse to tell you. Please come every day, please come Matzi Shabbos, I really appreciate it. Boys, let's go weiter. Wow. Oh, the joke where he said, "Stay for the coffee"? That joke? Oh yeah, say it. Shkoyach, thanks for not ruining that one. Wow. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let's just do Rav Ashi, and then you all could run to Shachars. I know you're in charge. Rav Ashi Omar Lo'elam Kediktani. So you're here. Lo'ilam Kediktani. Where was it? There was the Chamoisai. Hold on. No, I know. I'm just looking for Chamoisai. Here we go. We're talking about, whoa. We're talking about how do you know the upper one from the lower one? The question is, we call the upper the lower. Yeah, we are trying to know the mother-in-law's mother. She's the upper one. Look, in the chart she's higher. So why do you call her a lower? She's a higher, not a lower. Further away. Right, she's further away. Says Gemara, because she's further away, she becomes a lamata. She's more distant. She's less relative to you. So she's a lamata relative. She's not a lamala. She's not a strong relative. She's a lamata relative. Imahi ein ima asura. If just like on her side, your wife's grandmother is also to you midiraisa. Afu ein ima asura. Maybe you should say that your own grandmother should be also to you midiraisa, and we know that's not the case. The reason why your own grandmother is not also to you is because we have an exclusion in the Torah. Only your mother is also to you, not your grandmother. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.